Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for May 15th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, I would ask that you please do subscribe if you are not already. It really does help support my channel. And please also, and this applies to every single one of you, please watch the whole video. You'd be surprised how much it really does help me grow my channel. So please consider subscribing and watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So for today's video, we're going to be tracking Invest 90L, as I've said that I would do for this video. On the top right of your screen, which will be appearing now, if you want to, please consider checking out. I did a live stream today with Jones RMJ, a weather discussion, along with a little bit of week gameplay. So if that is on the top right. That just appeared about 10 seconds ago. So click that little eye there on the top right. Also, on the top right, which is appearing right now, is my 6th hurricane outlook and discussion. So please consider watching that after this as well. You must watch it because getting the latest hurricane content. All right, so today we're going to be talking about only about Invest 90L in this video today, which is right now on the Straits of Florida, and it's going to head out over the southeast coast, off the southeast coast here. It has an 80% chance of developing now by the National Hurricane Center, and I probably didn't update, but let me make sure. Yes, so 80%. Gradual development. This one's not going to rapidly develop. Probably most likely become subtropical or possibly tropical if it gets a little bit more organized. Regardless of development, the Florida Keys and parts of the Bahamas are seeing, tropical storm force wind gusts, and the Bahamas are seeing huge amounts of rainfall, and that's very sad after getting Hurricane Dorian. We're talking about over 3 inches of rain for parts of the Bahamas. This storm is moving so slowly. I think as of this, I know this morning that this storm was moving actually 1 mile an hour. If we look at the latest ship's diagnostic message, if you watched my hurricane videos last year, you saw that I used to use this, and I'm glad I get to use it again because since this storm was declared an invest, we could actually get a look at this. So, in terms of the wind shear, wind shear will be dropping. All right, and you can see about 24 hours from now. This is the 2 p.m. update. This is the latest update. All right, and you can see that in 24 hours from now, the wind shear will be down to 13 knots. I mean, wind shear right now. Earlier, it was like 50 knots, so we've really dropped. We've cut that in half now. We're down into the 20s, so about 30-mile-an-hour wind shear, which isn't bad. All right, but I think this is why it becomes subtropical, because wind shear is not bad. It's also earlier in the season. Okay, that's another reason this could become subtropical. All right, look at the ocean temperatures. Right now, we're just holding on to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, but once you start dropping below 26, and now we're getting below 80 by about 18 to 24 hours, we're going to drop below 80 degrees Fahrenheit. We really lose that heat, that warm water that we need. And you can see this storm actually will be tracking into waters of 17 to 19 degrees Celsius, which is probably I think it's actually down to the 60s, which is completely it's going to kill the storm. Another thing that I look at here is the storm speed. So second to the bottom, right here. Only moving at about 4 knots right now. The storm speed, as it moves up the coast, the storm speed will increase gradually. 10 to 15 knots over the next couple of days, and then eventually it'll start moving really fast once it gets hooked up with that jet stream, moving 30 knots, so moving about 35 miles an hour. But as of now, the storm is starting to move a little bit faster, but it's still moving very slowly, which is why Miami, the Keys, as well as the Bahamas are getting a lot of rainfall here. Heat content. All right, look at the values. The highest values are right now. Once you get to 24 hours from now, there's no heat content, which is really what those tropical systems feed off of. If this storm was forming in the Caribbean, I'd say there's a good chance that this could become tropical, possibly even more than that, possibly Category 1 hurricane. But there's not as much heat content up here this far north latitudes this time of year. Usually it's towards the Caribbean. So heat content values we'll get according to this by hurricanes.ral.ucard.edu. Looks like our highest heat content will be about 10, and that'll be about 12 hours from now. So again, so this storm will have some obstacles in its path, but overall, all right, this is a storm. Impressive, the fact that we're having a preseason development. Why do I think it's gonna be subtropical? Well, you look at the satellite. Let me just make sure it's not. All right, it's not clocking anymore. You take a look at the main circulation region. It's gonna be hard to find at first. If you look, where the actual storm center is is actually, I mean, we're starting to see a little rotation out here, but it's not that far north. Actually, you can't tell, but the storm center is actually here. And it was looking a little bit better organized this morning, but really it's just flare-ups of showers and thunderstorms going towards the Bahamas, as well as going up the peninsula of Florida, even Cuba. We're starting to see some more thunderstorm activity really starting to flare up for Cuba as well. So definitely something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. All right, let's take a look at those ocean temperature anomalies. This is the latest. And we see a cool patch right here that's been developing off the coast of Florida. So this storm right now is right here, approximately. You'll see there actually, I have a map to show like where the storm center actually is. And then you can see it moves up and it kind of runs out of that warm water. We have a little bit here. All right, but the ocean temperatures, I think, is going to be one of the problems here, which is why it could become subtropical. But sometimes later in the year or even earlier in the year, we could have subtropical systems way up in the North Atlantic. If you happen to get lucky with no wind shear, that could certainly possibly happen. All right, so when we're looking at the ocean temperatures, like I said, it's about 80 or 80 and a half, possibly up to 81 degrees Fahrenheit right now, which is about 27, 20 degrees Celsius. It's going to start to run out of that. But like I said in the live stream that I just did earlier today with Joe RJ, that I talked about, if the storm does take a more western track, okay, so here's that storm, it gets closer to that Gulf Stream because we know the Gulf Stream, which runs like this, has all those warmer waters. So if it takes a more western track, it's closer to that Gulf Stream, possibly some warmer waters in its path. But if it goes more east out here, instead of being 26 Celsius, it's more like 22 Celsius. All right, so definitely something we're gonna have to watch. But the area of yellow and orange has been it's been expanding across the Caribbean and the Western Atlantic. So definitely some warmer waters in this storm system's path for now. I know I just reloaded this, but let me just make sure. Yeah, so this is as of 2 p.m. May 15th. Or yeah, for 21Z. Yeah, so yeah, 21Z and is the latest update here. And you can see again, here's that storm center just south, about 25 to 50 miles south of the Florida Keys. All right, so just near Key West there. Let's look at the model track guidance. All right, model track guidance. Okay, one model. There's always one model that just takes it west. I don't know why it does that, but the general trend here is that's going to go off the southeast coast, possibly some rip currents for the Carolina coast. Even up the east coast, we could have some rip currents. The storm will be strengthening. All right, as we head over time, the storm system will be strengthening. However, so even though the winds will be strengthening as the storm system moves north, it's going to lose its tropical characteristics. But the winds will still be strengthening. This will be an extratropical cyclone, probably as it moves up into the North Atlantic Ocean. But the winds will still be strengthening thanks to that jet stream, that trough digging down. All right, and stay tuned. I will be doing a video as well, potentially on why the East could be seeing rainfall for days due to that upper level low in the upper Midwest. So the East Coast could be seeing some rainfall for days. So stay tuned for that as well. But again, the storm system moving up near the coast, not like right on top of the coast, but it will be moving through the North Atlantic Ocean as it loses its tropical characteristics. Here's the GEFS tracks and the pressure. So the pressure is 72 hours from now, possibly down to 1,002 millibars. All right, so that is strengthening. But you can see it goes down to 994 over time. And this is just an average of all the models. All right, but you can see the tracking is very similar. I mean, all the models are, in very well agreement on this. All right, possibly could it move to the New England coast. I don't know. I keep screwing up here. Some models do indicate that it could make landfall on the Carolina coast. I know we'll be looking at the GFS, NAM, Canadian, all those kind of models as well as the European. But it could potentially get close to the Carolina coast and potentially close to the New England coast because that's where those two coastlines do kind of stick out the most, as opposed to Delaware, New Jersey, and New York don't stick out quite as much. So that's something we're going to be watching, the land interaction here. All right, GEPS tracks. These tracks to bring it a little bit closer to the coast at first, and then they sort of kick it out to sea. If that's the case, again, a lot of these models are hovering close to the Gulf Stream, so that means possibly some warmer waters and some more energy for the storm system to feed off of. All right. Here's the model intensity guidance. Every single model, I'm pretty sure, okay, unless I'm not, yeah, I'm seeing this right, except for the COTI because they're just that one bull model, which I don't know why they were like that. They were the one, if you look here, it was actually moving like up this, yeah, right here. See how it's moving up the west coast of Florida right here? So that's the model we're talking about. But other than that, every single model here is taking this storm into tropical storm status at some point. Whether some models do it 24 hours from now, most of the models do it about 36 hours from now. Some models wait till about 108 hours from now. So It will most likely become tropical or subtropical, but again, it will probably be in those tropical storm force wind categories at some point in time. All right, let's look at the GFS model now. All right, here's that storm center. We'll be looking at the surface winds as well, but this is like the precipitation. So again, some rainfall potentially for the first coast, Space Coast of Florida here. All right, so Melbourne, we're talking about you there. Jacksonville, probably going to be south of you, but the Bahamas are going to get whiplashed as well. All right, and here is 998 millibars of pressure, probably where it's going to be starting to develop. But again, the area of rain is on the western side, so probably going to be a subtropical storm because it's not quite. The ocean temperatures aren't quite cold enough. It's feeding off a little bit cooler waters, and it's also, and also there's not as much heat content to really thrive off of. Also, the wind shear will be kind of moderate. All right, so GFS model does have a tropical storm, as you can see by the green there, in the forecast by about 2 a.m. on Monday. So overnight Sunday into Monday kind of developing here. Again, your area of strongest winds is to the south of the storm. Normally, it would be, at least off to the east in some fashion. So, but at least they do put the L where there is a little white patch, meaning at least the calmer winds are closer to the storm center. So that's a little bit of a positive there. All right, but let's go to the GEM model. And again, Bahamas are going to get whiplash as well. For some reason, the GEM model is being a little weird about this. All right, so yeah, because sometimes if you zoom in on the actual storm itself, it acts a little bit weird. So let's just go, let's just go here. Probably a little bit easier so you guys can see the storm. And again, the pressure ice lines really get packed together. All right, off the coast of the Carolinas, definitely going to have some wind, storm currents, definitely some rip currents possibly. All right, and then the storm continues to strengthen, but like I said, it's going to lose its tropical characteristics by the time it makes it up to the Carolinas, up to the North Carolina coastline at the same latitude as North Carolina. But as it gets slashed on with that jet stream, another low pressure also dips down. But Bahamas going to get a lot of rainfall, even some rainfall for even parts of the Florida peninsula as well. All right, so let's look at that total accumulated precipitation. Parts of the Bahamas, we're talking about potentially 4 to 6 inches of rain right around Nassau in the Bahamas there. Even the Carolina coast could still see, according to the jet model, possibly a ½ inch of rain, as well as the easternmost parts of Florida. Since it's acting weird, again, we're going to zoom. I had these kind of maps set up, so let's just move it to the southeast. No big deal. Sometimes when you zoom in on the actual storm, it starts to act weird. So since we're at a different zoom level, anytime you see orange colors, that's where we have our tropical storm. All right, it's not green this time. And so here it is. So there's your tropical storm right there, just to the southeast. But watch this, 1,003 millibars of pressure here, and then boom. Look at this. This is just, I mean, that's really crazy. We're talking about over 40, 45 knot winds, which is over 50 miles an hour. All right, it could still be tropical by then, but by this point, Monday afternoon, it starts to lose its tropical characteristics. And we're talking about winds of over 50 knots by this point here. Probably, again, losing its tropical characteristics, but it's still going to sustain the winds of a strong tropical storm, possibly. And that's really all that matters, even though it's not considered tropical, quote unquote. All right, but 997 millibars of pressure there. So definitely some very low pressure and possibly a strong storm on our hands. All right, let's look at the NAM model. All right, NAM model precipitation loop first. All right, making the NAM model has it coming on shore in Florida, actually, drifting out towards Nassau in the Bahamas. All right, I don't know why really it's clocking, but 1,006 millibars of pressure, and then it really starts to strengthen. But look how close the NAM model takes it to the coastline here. Has it definitely coming on shore of the Carolinas. Here's 1,001 millibars of pressure. We'll be taking a look at the winds as well with the NAM model. And look, a really heavy rain band comes on shore of Virginia, possibly up towards the Chesapeake later on. 1,000 millibars of pressure here, 69 hours out, and just almost making landfall on the Carolina coast. And take a look at this. I mean, look at 996 millibars of pressure. This storm system is knocking on the Delmarva's door here. But see, the reason they have it tracking closer to the coast is because they kind of take the NAM model. They kind of want the front to take longer. They're predicting that the front that comes through takes longer. If that's the case, the storm could track farther west because the cold front's going to kick the storm out to sea. So if that front takes longer to come through, that's providing the severe storms for the northeast right now, by the way. But this is a different front. And who knows? It could actually brush the Jersey Shore. All right? A little bit of the storm's rainfall combined with that front there. And the Jersey Shore, according to the NAM model, could see some potential rainfall. All right? And possibly some gusty winds. And let's take a look at the winds, actually. All right? Let's go about 24 hours out to see where the NAM model is. Again, just some green, so probably about 20 knot winds right now. Again, green doesn't mean tropical storm force. You're going to need to see those oranges to have tropical storm force winds. And there it is, right there. Probably, again, right around Monday morning, overnight Sunday into Monday, 1,001 millibars of pressure. Typically, 1,000, 5,000 millibars of pressure is typically your tropical storm kind of category. And then our winds start to build 40, 45 knots here. All right, potentially over 45 to 50 mile per hour winds. And this storm moves up the East Coast and on Outifear by overnight Monday into Tuesday. Let's take a look at the cyclonic vorticities, how they really organize this storm, the NAM model. I kind of want to show this for the NAM model because I think it would probably look the best with the NAM model because they have it like high definition. It kind of looks better on the NAM model. All right. So if we look at the NAM model here, all right, again, this is about 15 hours out or so. So let's actually go a little bit farther out than that. Again, a storm system starting to make its way off the Florida coast, and you can see if I actually play the animation, I don't know why it's clocking again, we can actually start to see kind of like that spin motion. All right, it definitely has that spin motion, some stronger cyclonic vorticity amounts up to the east of the storm. But like I said, because those higher cyclonic vorticity amounts are so far from the storm center, I'm going to quote unquote center here, because it's so far from the storm center, that's why it's going to be subtropical, a little bit less organized. But still, this storm system is going to make its way up the Carolina coast and potentially some epic potency, especially for May here. Even if it's not classified as tropical storm, it can still have tropical storm force winds. It's just not classified as quote-unquote tropical because of its organization. Just because a storm becomes extra tropical or subtropical, it can still have winds of 60, 70 miles an hour, which won't be the case here, but potentially over 50 mile per hour winds. Let's take a look at the European models, our last model run here. All right, and again, moves up the coast here and kind of comes latched up with that cold front, and that's rain in the northeast for days. Definitely going to be a serious issue. European model does actually make it a tropical storm. When I looked at the old model run, they might not, they really don't make that a tropical storm this time. So, like I said, not all models are quite in on this, but still, we're talking about 30, 35 mile an hour winds with the European model, so it's definitely something we got to keep our eyes on. So, thank you for watching today's video, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your friends, and tell them to watch the whole video as well. Again, please don't forget to watch my 6th hurricane video, as well as my live stream with Jones RMJ. Thank you guys for watching. I'm the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Thank you guys for watching.